Barakatah Hawa, Barakatah Hawa Shai, Barakatah Hawa, Barakatah Hawa Shai, Kal Halalam La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and lead as examples to the flock. Citations to the Akim out there, starting with the 144,000 up to the 1/3 men, women, and children whom the Lord has foreordained to receive mercy. This lesson is going to be titled something along the lines of detachment is necessary to go through this truth, or something like detachment is necessary to make it in this truth, to be successful in this truth, to receive the reward. We have to be able and willing to give up, this life, when the choice is presented, and in order to gain, the kingdom. So we're going to start here in Matthew chapter 16 and verse 24. As you can see, the title of this section here is Discipleship is Costly. Right? Another scripture that speaks about, counting the cost. Matter of fact, let me just start there. Right? Since it came to mind. Counted cost. This is Luke chapter 14 and verse 28. Right? Matter of fact, this is talking about the same thing. Right? Luke 14 and verse 26. If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you, intending to build a tower, set it not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it, lest haply, after he had laid the foundation, and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock, saying, This man began to build, and was not able to finish. Or what king goeth to make war against another king, sitteth not down first, and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh with 20,000? Or else, while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassage, which is a messenger, and desireth conditions of peace. So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he hath, cannot be my disciple. So that's the cost, right? And the word hate here doesn't mean to literally, hate your family members. Let's just read it here, miseo, right? If we go down to the Greek, to the definition here, to hate, pursue with hatred. Strong's info said, to detest, especially to persecute. But here's how it's applied in this section, or this context. By extension, to love less, right? So really and truly, that's what it means, right? So again, it says in Luke 14:26, which is where we're coming from, right? It says the signification to love less, to postpone in love or esteem, to slight, through oversight of the circumstance that the Orientals, in accordance with their greater excitability, are accustomed both to profess love and hate, where we Occidentals, with our cooler temperament, feel and express nothing more than interest in, or disregard or indifference to a thing, right? So it means that pretty much you're in a detached state of mind, right? You have an interest in your family, right? But when it comes, to choosing between the truth and Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and them, then you're more indifferent, or you disregard, disregard them. That's what it means here, to when the scripture says, if any man, hate not his mother or father, is not worthy of me. That's what it means there. You have to be able to disregard, right, or be indifferent toward your family for the sake of the truth. Now, that doesn't mean that you should go, there's balance in all things. That doesn't mean that you should go and create unnecessary tension between you and your family members, making your life more difficult than it needs to be, right? But in situations where choosing your family will jeopardize your walk in this truth, that's where you put your foot down and you prioritize the truth over those relationships. But you don't go seeking out conflicts for the sake of seeking out conflicts because the scriptures say you're supposed to be indifferent. If your family has no issue with you, being in the truth, being out on the highways and the byways, and they're willing to be to live peaceably with you, then by all means, Paul said, if it be possible, live peaceably with all men. So if there's no conflict between you doing this work, between you going out on the highways and the byways, live peaceably with your family. But when it comes down to choosing, for example, the time of Jacob's trouble or the hour of temptation, you know that you ought not to sacrifice your integrity for the sake of saving your family, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to save them by doing that anyways, right? And by not sacrificing your integrity, you are also, saving them, because in the kingdom they're going to be there and they're going to be perfect, right? Let me read this section here where it says discipleship is costly, right? Matthew 16 verse 24, then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross and follow me. I want to look up that word here, deny, right? Let's open a new tab here.
Strong's G 533, aparneomai. Aparneomai.
To deny utterly, to disown, to abstain. You go down to the biblical usage to affirm that one has no acquaintance or connection with someone. And here's the context, that in our definition B, to forget oneself, to lose sight of oneself and one's own interests. And again, all things in balance. This doesn't mean that you completely neglect self-hygiene, taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, and if it be possible, getting a sensible job where you can take care of yourself, help take care of brothers and stuff like that. It's in balance, right? What you do here is you don't pursue these personal interests at the cost of cutting back on the ministry. You don't pursue, a career or whatever at the cost of you being unfruitful in the ministry. If you can do something in order to, improve your circumstance and help brothers, by all means do it, as long as you're not sacrificing your fruitfulness in the scriptures, as long as you're not becoming too attached, to that thing. All right, let's go back here. All right, verse 25 says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it. And it's going to come down to the point where you're going to be put in that situation where you're going to feel as if you need to save your life. For example, the 3 Hebrew boys, that were threatened with being thrown in the fiery furnace. They didn't give up their integrity. Daniel, when he was threatened and thrown into the lion's den. The 7 sons and the mother who were tortured and put to death, for not eating pork, And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it, right? All those examples that I gave, were men and women, who were willing to lose their life, for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's sake. And ultimately they're going to gain that life and even more abundantly so, because it's going to be life eternal. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his soul? Right? Or what exchange shall a man give in, or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? And we see a lot of people, especially in the entertainment industry, who have, sold their soul and are expressing regret, about it, because if you give up your morals and your integrity in order to gain material wealth, you're gonna end up being miserable, because you won't be able to live with yourself, and those material possessions that you thought would have made you happy ended up making you feel more dead inside than you anticipated, right? It says, for the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, then shall he reward every man according to his works. How did you walk in this truth? Were you a good brother? Were you fruitful in the ministry, in edifying the body? Were you faithful to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai? And did your faith not waver when it was tested. Right? Let's jump here. I believe we read something like this in Luke, but we're gonna read it nonetheless. Matthew 10 verse 37, he that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. He that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth not after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loses his life for my sake shall find it. Right? Let's go here to 2 Timothy 2 verse 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua, because once you enter this truth, you are called to walk a difficult life. Right? Scripture says in Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, if thou come, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. That's one of the first scriptures we learn when coming into this truth. And that's one of the first scriptures we teach new brothers when coming into this truth, so that you can adopt a mindset, where you will need to, you will need, to suffer. Right? No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. Right? So you don't entangle yourself, with certain things that are going on. You express nothing more than maybe an interest in something, but in general, you are indifferent, to those things. Right? You don't entangle yourself. You don't become too caught up in the things that are happening to the point where you have anxieties over them, and you start to worry, and it takes up your mental space, and you just get distracted. Right? This second is just 14 verse 14. It says, let go from the immortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. The burdens of man are, just like it suggests, worrying about family, worrying about bills and all these different things. Those are the burdens of man. Those are the mortal natures. Right? It says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen shall happen, shall be done thereafter. Right? Let's go a little further. It's Luke 21 and verse 34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life, so that they come upon you unawares. Right? So surfeiting has to do with excess. Excess in anything, excess in joy, excess in sadness, cares of this life goes into anxieties, worries of this life. Right? For as a snare shall it come upon all them that dwell upon the earth. Watch therefore and pray always. Right? Be sober, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things and to stand before the Son of Man. Right? I believe we're going to wrap here. This is 1 Corinthians 7 verse 29. It says, but this I say, brethren, that the time is short, and it remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none, they that weep as though they wept not, they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. So you go through life with the mindset that this is going to pass away. I'm going to lose it. It's going to pass away, and we're going to go to the kingdom. That's the mindset. This is not it. This is not a goal. This is temporal. This is not eternal. Right? So you move through life with that mindset. So hopefully this lesson was edifying. Till next time, shalom.